Ladies and gentlemen, the Los Angeles Lakers made a trade for a point guard. They got their problem solved. They finally landed the game changer. His name is Patrick Beverly. That's right. Patrick Beverly is now a Los Angeles Laker. Yes, so the Lakers end up sending Talen Horton-Tucker and Stanley Johnson to Utah to acquire Patrick Beverly, the quote-unquote missing piece for this Los Angeles Lakers team. So I don't know if a lot of you all look at memes and stuff, but the meme that initially looks at Kyrie Irving, kind of blurry, wipe off the glasses, and it actually turns into Patrick Beverly. That's exactly how this feels. Like all that talk over the summer, all the rumors of what LeBron wants, what the Laker Nation wants. Rob Pelinka delivered you Pat Beverly. Now, don't get me wrong, like Pat Beverly, I would take on my team any day of the week. But does Pat Beverly really move the needle for this Los Angeles Lakers team that still has flaws? Just call it for what it is. You still got Russell Westbrook on your team, which him and Beverly have had a history. So that's a really interesting dynamic within itself. We still don't know how healthy Anthony Davis is going to be. Even though I have seen footage of him, shooting around and stuff. Maybe not more so in the weight room, but I have seen him touch a basketball. LeBron's been hooping out here, so no more to really say there. I mean, I'm curious to see how the rest of the team actually, contributes to Darvin Ham's first season as head coach. I'm just curious to see how all of these pieces fit together. This is going to be the team that you have starting the season. Yes, Patrick Beverly brings grit and tenacity and a lot of energy. A lot of energy. But, yeah, this doesn't move the needle for me whatsoever. I mean, I heard rumors of them trying to bring back Dennis Schroeder. But that was before this trade. So I don't know if that closes the door on Schroeder right there. And even Schroeder doesn't move the needle here at all, too. So I don't know what the Lakers really plan on doing here. And I don't want to say Rob Pelinka is out here making trades to be making trades, because a lot of people just be saying Patrick Beverly is just out there just to be out there, just running around just to be running around. Now, I know that's not the case the majority of the time, but I can see why people think that. So in this aspect with Rob Pelinka, I'm really hoping that's not the case here either. Because at least Stanley Johnson was one of the few people that actually was a bright spot for the Lakers last year when they actually when they actually signed him and played him. He actually provided effort and energy. So I'm, curious to see how all of this unfolds. But yeah, that's the big news out of Laker Nation. Patrick Beverly, a one-time Clipper, is now a one-time Laker. Whew. Gotta love it, right? All right, I'm just going to go around, different things. One I definitely want to touch light on because it's HBCU related. So this guy named Brian Allen, he has a free streaming service called HBCU Go for the historically black colleges, and they're to my understanding for football. From what I've read and for what I looked up myself, he does have a nationwide licensing agreement with CBS. And basically, through this app, you will be able to, see games, and through CBS, you'll be able to see games. So basically, For the 22-23 sports season, HBCU programming will be available in 12 major U.S. TV markets, including 70% of black households and 60% of homes overall. That is major. That is very major. Because before that, you would go few and far in between of seeing that HBCU game. That's just what it is. Like ESPN will probably show, 3 or 4 games over the course of the season for HBCU, and it'd be like major games, to my understanding. So I feel like in the last few years, between NIL making things happen, Deion Sanders becoming the head coach of Jackson State and turning that program around and doing what he's doing for HBCUs, this right here is just another stepping stone in the right direction for that. And now, this here was posted in our Facebook group, and one person who don't even watch college football saying that now he has an interest in checking it out just because of that. So I'm pretty sure other people would probably feel the same way. So that is awesome. So definitely big shout out to Brian Allen and, him reaching this agreement and him with the HBCU Go app. So, man, that's big time. So does that mean I get a chance to see Deion Sanders in Jackson State? With a couple of 5-star recruits going out there and doing their thing? I would love to see it. I would definitely love to see it. And in fact, it's going to be on CBS. That's major. So they said 12 major TV markets. I mean, I would assume the area I'm in would be one of them, but we'll find out. But either way, that's still a step in the right direction. So I'm assuming over time that will grow and continue to be more and more. So, definitely shout out there on that one. Speaking of college football, I want to say Tuesday, Nick Saban, I guess, reached an extension with Alabama. It's an 8-year, $93.6 million extension with the Crimson Tide. So my thoughts on that is, I'm pretty sure a few months ago he was just complaining about, NIL, deals and stuff like that. How it's, not fair. And now he turns around and gets paid. We don't hear anything. But I feel like I want to see how his, tune changes again when the competition catches up to him. Because it feels like we were almost pretty much at that point. I mean, Alabama, yes, is still a great powerhouse. They are. And they are ranked number 1, I guess, out of respect. And I get that. But with the, emergence of the expansion of the SEC, with NIL being a major player in recruiting nowadays, and just the fact that, Georgia, caught them, Clemson over the years, stuff like that, I feel like within this 8 years, Alabama will get caught. And Alabama will not be a sure thing like they were for the past decade or decade and a half. I don't see it. So I want to see how, he responds when that happens. Because like when all the things go for him, he's squeaky. I mean, he's, nowhere to be found. But, when something, disturbs his peace, a little, turbulence here and there, this dude just starts whining. Like, just stop it, bro. You're Nick Saban. You're a legend. Things happen. Chill out. All right, so I'm going to swing back to the NBA. Because at some point on Tuesday, it was reported that Kevin Durant met with the owner once again. And basically, they have decided to we gonna run it back. We're gonna bring the band back together. It's in everybody's best interest. Nets did not see a deal they would like, and they told them straight up, like, "Yo, we're not just gonna be trading you, just be trading you. We're not about to get pennies back on the dollar. We're just not doing it. So therefore, it's in your best interest to just hoop." And I guess Kevin Durant agreed to that. So now, the Nets gonna run it back. However, there's still a lot of question marks here. One, the dynamic between Kevin Durant and Steve Kerr / Sean Marks. Because in the previous meeting, you said either they go or I go. You verbally wanted them fired. So now everybody just returned like, that never happened. How does that play out? For me, that has to be addressed immediately. Immediately. I don't know if it was addressed in that meeting with the owner and everybody else. But that, before media day, that has to get squashed out. So that's one question mark. 2, Ben Simmons. Are you going to play? How do you fit in? What's the chemistry going to be like? All of that matters. On paper, they look pretty good to me. Because I'm looking on paper and I'm seeing if they all play to their apex here, to their height, to their max potential, this team can do some real damage. They're a serious threat. But I just want to see if Ben Simmons play, because a potential starting lineup would be Kyrie Irving, Joe Harris, Kevin Durant, Ben Simmons, and Nick Claxton. That's no pushover starting lineup at all. So I'm curious to see how that pans out. 3, the ultimate wild card, Kyrie Irving. Yeah, he's on a 1-year deal, so you would assume, you'll probably bet money on that he's going to actually, play his butt off this year because he wants to get paid. But then again, it's Kyrie Irving. We don't know what he's going to do, because Kyrie's going to Kyrie. Just how years ago, maybe about 2 decades ago, in baseball, Manny Ramirez for the Boston Red Sox. The saying was Manny being Manny. Kyrie's going to Kyrie. That's exactly what this is. Just in a more important dynamics, as we know, any situation that's going on in the country. Kyrie is prone to take a couple days to a couple weeks off. That's happened. So what's to say that doesn't happen again? I was guest appearing on my bro Al and his Al and Powell show, and he mentioned monkeypox. Monkeypox is a thing, but it becomes more of a mainstream platform, a mainstream agenda here. What's to say that Kyrie doesn't, vanish again, right? Just putting it out there. So, on paper, I probably had them up there with the Milwaukee Bucks. Those 2 are the cream of the crop in the Eastern Conference to me. But until I see it actually come together on the basketball court on a consistent basis, it's still the Milwaukee Bucks and the rest of the Eastern Conference. But Brooklyn has a lot of potential. So thank you, Kevin Durant, for a lot of meaningless headlines this summer, although it was very entertaining. During the dog days of summer, a lot of this stuff has kept us going. It has helped us make it through the tough times where sports are, pretty slow. Because baseball within itself is a slow game. So baseball being, the main sport in the summertime, and that's slow. So yeah, there we go. There we go. Man. And just a random stat here, football related, because, these days I got to mention something with football. But, so, the Cowboys Pro Bowl lineman, Zach Martin, just a random fact, has more Pro Bowl appearances, 7 of them, than holding penalties since entering the league in 2014. He only has 6 holding penalties, 7 Pro Bowl appearances. He committed 0 holding penalties in 2021. That's his 5th season having no holding penalties in 8 seasons in the NFL. So let that marinate. In the course of his career, he's only been called for holding 6 times. He's made the Pro Bowl 7 times out of the 8 years he's been in the league. And within those 8 years, 5 of those years, he's never been called for a holding penalty. If that's not a future first ballot Hall of Famer, I don't know what else to tell you. And that's probably one of the few bright spots left on the Dallas Cowboys offense. So give that man his flowers. He deserves every bit of it. Because I don't think Ezekiel Elliott is breaking 1,000 yards again in the Cowboys uniform. Just throwing that out there. All right, so we're going to conclude it here. Continue to rock with me right here on the No Offense Radio and the No Offense Network. Continue to follow your boy on social media at JGoodWithSports, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Check me out this weekend. On Saturday morning, the Early Morning Sports Talk Podcast live on Facebook. Sunday, we got the Destination Fantasy Podcast for fantasy football. I am locked in. I got plenty of content for both podcasts. Your boy's going to be very busy this off season. And if you need help with fantasy football, come at me. I got you. I'll get you taken care of. But until next time, you all take care. Have a great one. Peace.